Hi guys, we're here in amazing Salalah here in Oman, and we're guests of Chevrolet to check out the all-new Chevrolet Equinox. Now this car is new to our region, it's being introduced now, but this is not a new car in America. In fact, this is the second biggest selling nameplate for Chevrolet in America after the Silverado. They've sold 2 million of these cars over there. Now in that market, in this segment, which is the SUV-C segment, the biggest selling car, of course, is the Honda CR-V. They've just launched a new model and we have tested that. You can see that on motoringmiddleeast.com and also on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/motoringmiddleeast. I've reviewed the car, it's fantastic, it's really, really good. However, the prices on that car start from 89,900 dirhams, which is $25,000, and go up to 126,000 dirhams, nearly, which is $34,000. Now get this Equinox, which is about the same size and at the top end comes with better spec than the CR-V, particularly in terms of safety kit and driver aid systems. The price range for this starts at 76,900 dirhams, which is $21,000, and goes up to 110,900 dirhams, which is $30,000. Now that base spec car, the 76,900, that's an LS. It only comes with front wheel drive and it comes with a 1.5 litre turbo engine. That gives you 170 brake horsepower and 203 pounds-foot of torque, and it's mated to a 6-speed automatic gearbox. If you want a little bit of a better spec, then you can move up to the LT, still with front-wheel drive and the 1.5, and that one has a remote start, has a power-adjustable driver's seat, and it has a rear camera. That's always handy for parking, right? That car is 82,900 dirhams, which is $22,500. If you want all-wheel drive, which I would recommend because we live in this region and sometimes you have to come to places like this, as I'm doing right now, then that's just an extra 10,000 dirhams. That's 92,900, which is $25,000. This car you're looking at here is, of course, the top of the range model. This is the Premier. It only comes as all-wheel drive, of course, and in terms of the engine, it gets the second engine available in the range, which is a 2-litre turbo. Now, that thing is magnificent. It puts out 252 brake horsepower and 260 pounds-foot of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic for efficiency. Spec on this car includes 19-inch wheels, leather upholstery, and an 8-inch interior screen. A lot of safety kit as well, including auto braking, and it has that vibrating seat that Chevys and Cadillac have, which sort of tells you if you're straying into the wrong lane and stuff like that. This thing has spent 200 hours or 500 hours actually, in the wind tunnel to get this slipstream shape. A lot of chrome. It's got very much a Chevy identity on it. It's a very handsome car. I think it's time to have a closer look at it. Let's start with the boot. So you can, of course, open the boot with the key, which of course has remote start as well, but I'm going to try the kick technique, which should work like this. Oh, and it does. Isn't that fantastic? Pretty large boot. We've obviously got a cover here. We can pull that back and you can see quite a large space here with a bit of cavity space on each side. There's a power supply here as well and some hooks. Underneath here you've got extra room, quite a bit extra room actually, because it goes all the way down there. If you want to get the seats down, that's quite easy. There's a couple of handles over here and you pull that and it folds actually pretty much flat to give you quite expansive cargo bay. So that's pretty good, but how is the room in the back? Well, let's go find out. So here we are. Let's put the seat back up again. Oh, look, I like the way the seat base swivels back into place there. So over here, actually, you know, there's a lot of room here. They've put a lot of space into this rear wheelbase. I am, of course, 6'2". This seat is set for me, as usual, so that's my driving position, and yet I'm quite reclined back here, so it's pretty much on par. I think the Honda CR-V has maybe slightly more room in it. I just feel I could stretch my legs out just fractionally more, but otherwise, for an SUV in this segment, that's pretty good. I got plenty of room for my knees, and shin are very clear from the bottom of the seat base, plus room for my feet. What do we have down here? We have got 2 AC vents, so that's always good, and 2 USBs. Now this is on the top spec car, but that's always useful to keep arguments between kids at an all-time low. A power supply there, and also a 3-point plug down here at the bottom. We also have an armrest with 2 cup holders, so that's pretty good. And overall, it's a nice, comfortable, quite an airy environment because we've got a panoramic roof on this as well. But yeah, not a bad place to be at all. Okay, now it's time to get into the front. Whoa, nicely appointed leather upholstery, of course, in this top spec version. Now let's turn it on, because it's getting a bit hot outside, isn't it? And we've got a very nice instrument panel here. It's very familiar if you're used to Chevys, and it has that 3 layout. It has a center screen which is digital, and so that's quite good. Let's turn the fan down because that'll interfere with the noise. This one gets the larger screen. You get a digital screen in the lower spec car as well, but this one gets this nice, almost sort of floating arrangement here. And this, of course, comes with the Apple CarPlay and the connectivity and all the rest of it. Of course, it has its own satellite navigation on this, and all the usual things that you get in Chevy MyLink. We've covered that before. The AC is pretty good in this car. We've been driving around in it, and it's very, very powerful. What else do you get up here? You get remote controls on the steering. This is for the trip computer on here, which you can adjust from these buttons here, and the cruise control. There are buttons on the back as well. On this side, you get the light switches. You get the setting. There's a button here that allows you to set the height of the tailgate. So if you're a little bit on the short side and you can't quite reach the button, you can set where you want that from this button over here. Quite a deep door pocket over here. There's a nice cavity here with actually a wireless charging point for those phones that can do so. So that's quite handy. It's always a good place to leave your phone, and they've really thought about that here. There's two USBs here, plus a power supply or a cigarette lighter. Don't smoke, bad for you. Two cup holders here. This button here allows you to permanently turn on the all-wheel drive, and you also get hill descent control there. It's automatic braking, of course a 9-speed automatic with a tip shift facility on the top of the knob there. Another little tray there, and a very, very deep cubby box over here. I'm not sure if this is cooled, but probably that's one of the spec on here. So overall, a pretty good seating position, quite good visibility all around. And yeah, I think it's time that we put this 2-liter out on the road and see what it feels like on the go. Okay, so let's take it for a short spin. You know, this is not a driver's car. You know, this is about practicality, about being family friendly, about being easy to drive with a little bit of performance. I mean, we're in the 2-liter, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I've also had to go in the 1.5-liter turbo, 170 brake horsepower. So let's talk about that one first. And what I found with that car was that the performance for around town is fine. I mean, we've been out here in Salalah, we've been out in the mountain roads and stuff like that, and I sort of pushed it quite hard up a mountain road, a quite twisty mountain road, and actually it was reasonably enjoyable and entertaining. But you did have to work that 6-speed gearbox quite hard to make it work. Then after that, I jumped into this 2-liter, and I have to say that whilst you don't feel the performance loss so much in a 1.5, but what you do feel in the 2-liter is a performance gain. And I was quite astonished because, whoa, look at that. And even a hint of torque steer at the front there. So when the turbo kicks in, it definitely starts to move. And so the performance of the 2-liter, if you're into performance, I would say the 2-liter is definitely the one that you have to get. Although, like I said, the 1.5 for most people around town will be absolutely fine. For the commute and for the school runs and the shopping runs, that will be fine. But if you like a little bit of go, a little bit of urgency, then yeah, this is definitely the one to get. The turbo engine is fantastic. It also sounds better. It sounds quite raspy and quite sporty, whereas the 1.5 sounds a bit drony, particularly if you push it hard. So this is definitely the one to go if you want that performance and oral excitement. Overall though, the ride on both of them is pretty good. You just went over a speed bump there. Not too bad at all, but overall the ride is quite cushy, quite comfy on both cars, no real issue at all. And the handling, surprisingly, because again, like I said, we were on these twisty mountain roads, and I started chucking it around a bit, and I've got to say that it wasn't as bad as I expected. And you know, I've got to temper that because, you know, you jump into an SUV like this and you're on a mountain road and you think, oh, I wish I was in a Lotus or something, you know. But actually, I was enjoying it. I was having a bit of a laugh going up that hill. And the interesting thing to me, the thing that actually was pleasantly surprising, was that the understeer wasn't quite as pronounced as I thought it would be. You know, we had all-wheel drive cars, obviously. Even the 1.5 I was driving was an all-wheel drive LT version. But the understeer was quite controlled and barely perceptible. But overall, the grip was okay. I would say the grip on the CR-V is slightly better, but I would say that this one feels just a little bit more lively, whereas the CR-V feels a bit more planted. I guess that would be the main difference between these two cars. But overall, they're quite similar in terms of drivability. And again, like the CR-V, it's got very light, very easy steering, good all-round visibility, huge mirrors, so that really helps. Of course, reversing cameras as well on this one. But overall, a very, very easy car to drive, a very easy car to maneuver. Despite its increased size compared to, say, an old CR-V or something, you know, it's an easy car to park and to maneuver in spaces like that. And of course, the cameras and the parking sensors help. Overall, then, verdict. Very good car, very good new contender into this quite fiercely fought segment. Don't forget RAV4 is in there, and Hyundais and Kias are in there, so quite a few things are in that segment. So it's quite a fiercely fought segment, but this is a pretty strong, pretty solid contender. It's not a known nameplate, so that's the only thing that I think has got that's going to cause it a little bit of an issue. People are like, what is an Equinox? You know, people don't know what it is. But once, if GM can get that message through, if Chevrolet can get that message through, and at the same time explain the level of kit and equipment that you're getting for the price level that you're getting, this is a pretty good proposition. So, thumbs up from us. I quite like it. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely want to put on your short list if you're considering that segment of family car. Please do check us out on motoringme.com, where you'll find our reviews, and of course all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I'm going over some cobble paving, that's why the vibration is probably a bit more excessive on that camera than it normally would be. And of course on just search for Motoring Middle East, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the rest. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share and subscribe. And you can also follow me, Shazad Sheikh, on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat. Just, you know, there's things here for you to do, so it would be nice. You don't have to, but it would be nice. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until the next one. Hey guys, so we're on a Gravity Hill here in Oman in Salalah, and we're looking at it's probably hard for you to tell on the video because of the perspective, but if you look over there, and then you can see that the road appears to be going downhill. Okay, so look at my gearbox now, it's in drive, and now I'm going to put it into neutral. Now watch what happens. The car is actually moving this way. How weird is that? So here we are. Say hi.
Hi.
So look at, if you look from here, it looks like that's downhill, right? Okay, and then the road sort of levels off, but this bit here is supposed to be downhill. So now put the car into neutral. And that's the car going the other way. You're not accelerating, right? That's neutral. That is actually moving quite a bit. There you go.